I'm. Shut up, cup.
Hey everybody, it's Neil with the Dastardly Gentleman.
The end. Wow, zero introduction.
Look.
Welcome
up,
back,
everybody?
everybody.
Look, it's been a while, obviously. With me,
we're gonna,
I
we're
have
gonna
Frank.
do this thing and we're gonna ignore all the lotion on Neil's nightstand.
Why you gotta bring that shit up?
One is the loneliest number.
Anyways, shut up. With me, I have
okay.
Frank. Say hi, Frank, you asshole.
Buenos tardes, muchachos.
You know I don't speak Spanish. And OG Ryan. Say hi.
Hey, everybody.
So it's been a while. Back in the saddle again. We're gonna talk a little bit about Matthew McConaughey.
No, maybe a little bit. Maybe a smidge.
Do we have to?
A teeny tiny bit. I'm trying to be so patient for you. Just please, just.
All right, we're gonna talk about the Dark Tower because Frank really wants to talk about it. So go.
He's
Okay.
got some shit that he needs to get off his chest
I do.
right
You guys-
now.
It's like an open letter for therapy. I mean, like they ruined the movie like in the very beginning because I mean I know that like a lot of people were saying like oh it's not for I've heard two versions where one was well it's supposed to be. Wait, do we have a spoiler warning?
I mean, we could make one. I made one. Remember?
Spoiler warning! Spoiler warning!
I mean, it's too late now. I mean, this is live. We're doing it live.
I didn't think about it. I didn't think about it till right now. So look, if there are spoilers coming,
Lots and lots of spoilers.
brace yourself. Spoilers are coming.
Book
So-
and movie
Well,
spoilers.
so far, nobody's watching,
everything.
so they're not gonna get this warning.
It doesn't matter. Put it in the description. I should just like
It's too
write
late.
it down.
Just
Just
fucking,
be like-
just fucking do it.
Oh no, did I freeze? Or
You
back.
froze,
Like,
right.
so I froze momentarily, which would have been perfect if there was actually something written on there.
Careful
So
there.
at the very beginning,
Say careful there.
yeah,
You're crashing again.
that's true. So in the very beginning, they say, it's like the gunslingers are dedicated to defending the Dark Tower. I'm like, nope, turn it off. I'm like,
What?
Sure not. Good job, everyone. So in the book, the gunslingers are like an order of knights, which is what they describe them as in the beginning little text in the film. Like the gunslingers are an order of knights. They're determined to protect the Dark Tower. And I'm like, no, they are knights, not to defend the Dark Tower. The Dark Tower is just sort of there. It exists. It is somewhere out in the middle of everything. It's just known. Nobody worried about it because it's the fucking Dark Tower. What are you going to do? Destroy literally all of creation? Spoilers, yes. But like they never worried about it. They didn't care because nobody could get to it because there were different levels. There's in-world where the gunslingers lived, mid-world where some gunslingers were sort of at periodically, and then there was end-world, which is where the Dark Tower is. Gunslingers primarily were like literally worlds away from the Dark Tower. So they didn't really interact with it. Nobody did, really. So this idea of gunslingers were specifically to defend the Dark Tower, I'm like, eh. And it just ended up turning into this like, it was just a shit show because they tried to take all of the books and shove them into this 90-minute movie, and it blew my mind because there's 7 fucking giant books. I think the shortest one was The Gunslinger, like his original short story, and it was like 500 fucking pages. And so I mean, so then like at the very end, the 7th book was like 1,700 pages. It was unfucking believably big, and they just covered all of it. And I know that before I was like, man, I love the fact that Idris Elba is going to be in this movie. He just seems like he's going to be gritty. He's going to be real. He was terrible. I mean, like he comes into the movie. First of all, Jake Jake Chambers is apparently the fucking star of this movie. Roland is like a sub-star. It was crazy to me. Roland Deschain, the main character of the fucking book, the gunslinger, doesn't even show up until the first 30 minutes are over. You have to spend like 30 minutes with Jake's fucking family. And I'm like, no one cares. No one gives a shit about.
And from what I understand, I haven't seen the movie yet, but from what I understand, they weren't even really his parents from the book.
No, not even.
Like they were They completely changed their characters as well. For no fucking reason.
They weren't even the same. I mean, like, okay, so before I was saying, like, I've heard one of the defenses was that, like, this is his second round. Okay, this is before the spoilers thing. So we're supposed to see his second round through the tower. And I'm like, if that's true, then he should have the horn. So immediately, no, it's not. Because then also, Jake wouldn't exist. Because it's different every time. It's the same journey, different every time. So, but then going back to Jake's parents, yes, you're right. And what blows my mind even more, do you remember what his parents did in the book?
Yeah, his dad was some sort of TV personality, and his mom was basically a whore.
Yep. I mean, his dad was a high-powered TV executive that ran his own television network. Yeah. They lived in a penthouse in Manhattan. He never saw his parents because his dad was always at the office banging his secretaries. His mom was always off getting high as a kite and banging random dudes. And he was always at the penthouse with the maid.
Greta Shaw.
Yeah, Greta Shaw. And Elmer Chambers was his dad. And I don't remember the mom's name because she wasn't really consequential anyway. And in the movie, Elmer Chambers was a fucking firefighter, and he died in a fire. And so then he's got a stepdad that doesn't like him, and I'm like, and they live in like this like shitty little like 1-2 bedroom apartment in Brooklyn, and I'm like, what the fuck is happening? And I'm like, this isn't even the same. And they live on like the second floor. I'm like, this is literally all wrong. And then, so the movie just drags itself out, and like everyone's doing the prototypical like, oh, look at Jake, he's drawing his pictures, he must be crazy. I'm like, dude, these pictures are fucking banging though. I mean, like even he could literally say nothing, and people be like, you're a pretty talented artist. I love that people's immediate reaction is like, kids drawing must be fucking nuts. I don't even. You know that the world doesn't do that. Like, I mean,
how's that a thing? Who's saying this and why?
Literally everyone. I mean, anyone that comes in contact with this kid just looks at that fact that he draws and they're like, must be crazy.
Oh, like, you mean in the?
I'm like,
in the
apparently
movie.
Art doesn't exist in your fucking world.
Okay.
And another thing that I've heard that they never explained is why exactly he's having these visions and making these drawings of them. There's no explanation for it at all.
There is, but there isn't. So, I mean, do you remember what they called the semi-psychic waves that people got in the touch? Okay, yeah. They completely changed the name of it.
They made it The Shining, didn't they?
Made my eyes want to bleed because I'm like, do you remember? I know it was years ago. It was like literally one of the only Simpsons episodes I've ever watched where the Scottish groundskeeper, crazy Scottish groundskeeper guy or whatever, he's really? Like, yeah, he was like, hey boy, you got the shinnin'. That's all I could think of the whole fucking time. Like any time that like Jake was like, he's like, I'm gonna do a thing, and I was like, hey boy, you got the shit and it's strong with you. And I'm like, I don't know why this is happening. Why would you change the name? Why would you change the name of something so fundamentally like it's important, but it's not important? You know, I mean, I don't get it. It's like it would be like, you know, you have like the Star Spangled Banner, and like, but you change the name of the country, but it's clearly fucking America.
They might as well have called it the Quickening.
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand. I don't understand why you would do that. That makes no sense to me. And so then they changed that, which is unnecessary. And then you finally get into the gunslinger's world. And then do you remember like in the book, Roland's obsession was the Dark Tower. Everything the Dark Tower. That was it. That was the apotheosis of everything. And the Man in Black was just a stepping stone there. And in this movie, as soon as Jake comes in contact with Roland, he says, you're a gunslinger. And then he goes, there are no more gunslingers. They show that in the trailer. And I'm like, that's a strike against Roland's character. I'm like, you know, whatever. He's embittered. I get that. And then he starts to talk about, he's like, you're going to save the Dark Tower. And then he's like, look, the only thing that you need to understand, he says, I don't care about the tower. The only thing to me is killing the Man in Black. That's all I care about. I'm like, That's not even what the
That was
roll
never
credits.
Roland's goal at
I'm like,
all.
roll credits. This movie's over because he doesn't care about the Dark Tower. You kill the Man in Black. That meant fucking nothing. I mean, it meant nothing if you killed the Man in Black. Okay, everyone else is still trying to destroy the fucking tower. So I mean, like, it's so asinine to me too, because he says, he acknowledges the Dark Tower comes down, and then reality as we know it ends. I mean, he says the whole world's covered in darkness, but whatever. I'm going to ignore that. And so, but I'm like, you are acknowledging that the universe as you know it ends. You know that the Man in Black is trying to destroy the Dark Tower. You just say, I don't care about the Dark Tower. I mean, don't you think you should care at least a little? Since it was like your creed and your motto throughout the entire thing was that of this made up bullshit Stephen King-ish universe was to save the Dark Tower. That's what your whole fucking order was supposed to be for. But because you lost at Jericho Hill, which they never explain, they just call it a great battle. I'm like, fuck you, it has a name. And I don't know why they like give proper nouns to everything else, but like they don't give it to really important events. Like they have the Dixie Pig in the movie. And they're very specific, the Dixie Pig this, the Dixie Pig that. And I'm like, then why didn't you bring in Jericho Hill? You could literally mention it once, passing, and I would have accepted that. So,
didn't they make the Roland's father? He was killed by the Man in Black.
Straight up. Okay, so now,
such fucking bullshit.
Walter's power was always basically illusion, but in this he has a straight up power of death. He walks up to people and he just goes, "Stop breathing," and they just, and I'm like, "What the fuck?" I mean, I was honestly like, I looked over at my wife and I said, "Why do you even need the tower?" I mean, like, if you can make anyone do anything you want to ever, because at one point in the movie he makes two people fight to the death, and he goes, "Enjoy the show, folks." The whole restaurant of like 60, 80 people just stands up and turns around and watches these people beat each other to death. And I'm like,
status.
Yeah, I'm like, then why do you need anything else? I mean, like, at this point, you're already basically deified. Just, continue on about your life because it's fantastic. So, I mean, and then one of my hugest complaints, was with Matthew McConaughey's character, because they call him the Man in Black. And I know here that someone was like, you mean like Johnny Cash? Because they made him look like fucking Johnny Cash, and it just makes me so angry.
Walter O'Deem was the archetypical hideous disfigured wizard that you would think of from a fantasy story. Black hood, fucking wizard.
Yeah, he had to have the hood.
He was not this handsome, charming young man.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like, he's like, and throughout the entire thing, Walter's doing these quippy one-liners, and that was something else that made me crazy, because do you remember in the book, in the very beginning, Walter is the one that went to Keystone Earth and killed Jake, so that he would go into Midworld and be loved by Roland, etc. And then that's where it continues. In the movie, he has absolutely no fucking idea who this kid is. He is one of a faceless horde of psychics or people with the shinning that they're kidnapping and shoving in this Death Star tower breaking ray. Oh, that was another thing that they said in the very beginning. It says that it is said that the Dark Tower will be brought down by a single child, and I'm like, where?
Not even once.
I'm like, look me in the fucking face. Look me in the fucking face and tell me that there's a child anywhere in any Earth ever that can bring down the entirety of creation with thought. I mean, come the fuck on. That made me I saw that and I was like, just turn it off. I just spent $14 for this. I was very depressed. And I mean, there's so much in the movie that I especially the parts where it involves Roland actually using guns. It just made me go, because I'm like, I think this movie was done by people who have never actually used guns or gun belts or been around guns.
Pretty much, apparently, the only impressive things that he did with his guns, all in the trailers.
Yeah,
just watch the fucking trailers.
I mean, there was a scene. Because he's got this goofy gun belt, which I laughed at as soon as I saw it, because it's got the bullets on the side, and then it's got these little pouches where it holds 6-shooter bullets, but they're kind of sort of in there, but not really. And at one point he opens the cylinders, and he bangs him against these like the pouches of bullets, and then snaps them closed. And I'm like, he didn't touch anything.
Reloading via osmosis.
I'm like, he just banged him against his legs, and they just reloaded. And I'm like, that doesn't work like that. This is like, I feel like the action scenes in this were designed by the same people who were probably the same group of folks that think AR-15s jump out of your closet and start shooting people in the street. They're just magical, you know? And I'm like, right? Oh my God! But like, I mean, he reloads it like that, and then he does the one where, like, you know, he rolls the cylinders along his belt, and he just touches the back of them. They fall down through the gun belt, and I'm like, but they would just fall down normally if you could just push on them. I have thoughts, and I don't understand how people can look at this movie and be like, "Oh man, that's so actiony." And then remember, like, so I took the trailer. OG and I did this, and we were laughing probably a lot more than we should have. And as we were watching it, there's a scene, you can see it in the trailer, where he rolls the cylinder out, and he does this little pinchy motion thing, and he drops a bunch of bullets down, and it looks really kind of cool. But if you slow it down, and even if you don't slow it down, now that I've seen it in the theater and it didn't slow down, he's doing this thing to drop the bullets, but there's like he's holding like that, and a bullet comes out. So like they're coming out at a different speed than his hand. And I'm like, did no one notice this? I'm like, I could see it plain as day from here. I'm like, that's goofy. It's goofy. Look, it's very abnormal looking. And then, you know, of course, in the trailer they do he throws the fistfuls of bullets in the air, and then he just kind of scoops them up and then starts shooting his guns. And I'm like, that doesn't happen. There's literally no one on the planet who can do that. And I mean, and I don't care. You could come at me with he's from a magical land and he's a magical night man. I don't fucking care. He can't do that. Literally no one can do that. And then they get so ham-handed in trying to explain shit to you. Like things that, I mean, at this point, I'm like, but now you want exposition? You haven't explained anything else throughout this fucking shit show. I mean, like, but now you want to explain things? Like, you know, and it's done in such deadpan, like, awkwardness, where, like, Matthew McConaughey is talking about the gunslinger, and just out of nowhere, no one particularly asked him. He's like, he has the guns of Ale. You might know it is Keystone Earth is Excalibur. And I'm like, I am hurting. I am physically hurting right now. and it is true. That is part of the story. Arthur Eld, who wielded Excalibur, had his guns melted down, and they've been passed down from generation to generation. That's what makes those particular guns so powerful and so important, because he could use them to exterminate demons and all other kind of evil shit. Probably could have served a little, easing that in a little bit. Or you could have tried to world build a little bit so that it didn't seem like you're a fucking asshole whenever you say it. And then, so then, like, we know Roland is not from there. I mean, openly acknowledged. He's not from our Earth. He's not from Keystone Earth. He comes through, which was another weird thing, because they come to this nondescript town, and there's tons of people, and everyone knows he's a gunslinger. And I'm like, he's never been here before? And they're like, they'll have seers there. And I'm like, but if you're going in a linear direction, chasing a person who's been running in a single solitary direction for the longest time, how do you know that there's a village out there? How do you know they have seers? Moreover, when you got here, how did you know they had a functioning portal that they could just open to go right back to Keystone Earth?
Yeah, dude, I thought Sears went out of business.
Right?
No, they're still around. They're still good.
Yeah, and I mean, like, they have the technology to open this portal between worlds. And I'm like, what? and then they're like, it's so fucked up, and it's so funny because they're making this thing work and they're getting everything together. And then Jake's like, is it really going to work? And he's like, and one of the elders goes, no one knows how this technology works. And I'm like, should you be qualified to operate it then? Because you guys are fixing it right now. You're saying it's going to work. You're saying it's going to take us somewhere, and you're going to make us walk through it. We might die. You have no idea where we're going to go. I mean,
is this going to work? Shit, man, I have no idea.
You see the girl, the elder, and he's just like smoking crack out of a pipe. He's like, man, fuck, I don't know, but I'm transcending. I'm going through some fucking door. Shit. So then,
and that was another thing that I heard about that kind of pissed me off is that they made there were portals in the Dark Tower series, but they were literal doors.
Yeah,
like actual fucking doors on a
door
frame
knobs and everything. Yeah.
And in this, they were like wobbly fucking sci-fi portals. They weren't
every
doors.
one of them. If you take the symbol for Rainer's Raiders from StarCraft 2 and you just take out
we saw that.
White, it looks like the same symbol. I swear to God, somebody was probably playing StarCraft and be like, that almost looks like a door. And they just color it in white and be like, oh look, it looks like a door. And then someone's like, boom, Dark Tower movie. I can, and now that after I said that, I'm like, I literally cannot not see it now. And so they have like sci-fi Stargate looking motherfuckers that like, and they've got a little boop, 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 and that's, oh man, and they tell you right off the bat, Keystone Earth is 1919, no explanation. And they're little like rose symbols, which I'm assuming the directors were like, this is a nod to the books. I'm like, no, that's critical information. Actually, I mean, like, if we're talking about,
I heard there were a lot of little references and like Easter eggs dotted here and there, but not nearly enough to make you give a shit, even if you knew about them.
And it was mostly because it was almost like being offensive, you know. I mean, it's like really fucked up foreshadowing in like the story of Anne Frank, you know. I mean, like, yeah, it's like we got to go over that Bridgeford, like oh. Please, no. So then, like, they get this portal to work, and I don't understand. I mean, they don't know how it works, and they're like, well, they get the parts. And then the Tyheen attack, which I was like, why are the Tyheen attacking? That's random. So the Tyheen in the book were like, they were mutated people, bird, animal things. But, like, they were conscious. They all had, like, tribes and homes and thoughts, and most of them were more or less pacifist. These guys were straight up Urukai. And I'm like, you're not Tyheen. I hate to break it to you, movie people, but they're not Tyheen. They look kind of like slow mutants, but these motherfuckers could run, so they were fast mutants. And so then Roland gets sick, and this was like an Easter egg nod because the thing that pissed me off about it, so he gets stabbed through the shoulder, stabbed through the shoulder. Remember, right hand. It's just like it was in the book. So his hand gets infected. But he can't really use it, so he's like, nah. So he doesn't lose his fingers like he did in the book, but, you know, he can't move his arm. I'm not even fucking kidding you, Ryan. He went from right arm, left arm, and then back to right arm, and then he was in the hospital. They took Roland to the fucking hospital in Earth. And this is where the awkwardness of this fucking movie comes in, because so he's not from Earth, but he has a bunch of, like, you know, mid-world lingo, and they start making him, like, use it to everyone. And in the books, Roland was like, whenever he actually was on Earth, he was like, mm-hmm. And people would talk to him and he'd be like, mm-hmm. And because he's like, I know how I would talk to you, but I know that that's not how you would understand me. So he wouldn't say much, if anything, or just simple one word, you know, yes or no's. But in this, I mean, like, I don't know.
And Roland was familiar with the low speech. He could use it if he needed to.
But he had individual idioms for certain things that he was trying to avoid just using because it would make you sound incredibly foreign. I mean, he still did to a lesser degree.
Like you know, when he went to go get a sub sandwich and he referenced mayonnaise as cum.
Yeah, that's definitely. I want something that doesn't look like cum on my sandwich. Apparently, mayonnaise isn't a thing in Midworld. I'd have been like, I can't eat this now. Thank you. Here,
let me just
you
scrape
eat this
that off.
Yeah, just get it off. But like, so like Elba's in the hospital, and he gets up and he hands him this coin, and he goes and he's like, for your services, long days, pleasant nights. I'm like, ugh. I'm like, awkward. And then he gets onto a bus, and this motherfucker, like, I don't care how hardened you are and how many drugs that you take, he gets a literal fistful, like 16, 17 Percocets and other opiates, and just eats them all at the same time. And he's like, and then these two girls see him on the bus, and they're like, oh, hey, can we party with you too? And he comes over and goes, you've forgotten the faces of your fathers. And I'm like, I mean, you sound like an idiot. I mean, it was painful. Most of the time that he used any kind of language that would be associated with the book, that's how it was. And it came out really awkward and just painful to watch and to listen to. And you could tell that Elba just didn't give a shit about this movie. I mean, the way that he interacted with stuff, I mean, even shooting the guns, he's like, pop, yeah, cha-ching, cha-ching. Just pay me. I don't care.
And that's kind of weird to hear because almost everything that I have heard about the Dark Tower movie is the only redeeming thing about it was Elba's portrayal of Roland.
I really felt like there was a point where I think he just got to the point where in the script where he's like, this doesn't make any sense. And I really feel like he kind of transferred that to me at the end. Maybe it was just me projecting on him, but at one point, him and Sayer fighting, and he jumps out of a fucking window with Sayer, like 4th floor up. Now, I would like to remind everyone, Roland is fucking human. Like, he has the same human foibles as everybody else. He goes out of a window. He doesn't just go out of a window and then hit the pavement below and then jump up and run, which would be pretty prototypical for action movies. He goes out the window, and then him and Sayer get hit by a bus. And they go through the window while they're falling. Like, they're coming down, like, and then the bus hits them, and they go through the front window and land in the bus. And then Sayer punches the shit out of him a few times and then throws him out the back of the window, and he and then lands like 15-20 yards away. Side note, Sayer is played by Jackie Earle Haley. He's not like a small just got out of college actor, you know. He's got a pretty good rap sheet at this point for movies he's been in, more or less high dollar. Kills him like that. I mean, like, he comes in, pow, and Sarah's like, huh, and he catches a bullet, and Roland's just like, bang, and then shoots him one more time, and he falls over dead. And I was like, no, he's gotta be faking. I mean, he's gotta be faking. They've been building up this vampire this entire movie, and I'm like, and he just runs past him. I'm like,
nope, he dead.
Is he for real dead? That was it?
I think that guy might really be dead.
The last thing that I will say, because I know that we're running out of time on this subject, and that's fine. He kills the Man in Black, which didn't happen in the book. I'm not going to get into that. Fine, whatever. I understand that this movie is garbage and that we need to end it somehow. But the way that he does it absolutely destroys me. Like, it hurts me here because fucking there's just literally no way. He gets hit by stuff. Matthew McConaughey decides to fight him with sorcery, and his version of sorcery is hysterical because he stands like he's riding a horse, and then he literally does this at things, and he moves the things while he's fighting. Yeah, I'm like, who's fucking teaching you grabbing? Knock it off! So then he's fighting Roland with his hoodoo nuju, and then he throws stuff at him. And I'm like, this is like watching a Jedi that lost his lightsaber, and so then.
So I threw the Senate at him. The whole Senate.
You might as well have. So then he knocks Roland down, and then Jake uses the shitting to get him to wake up, and then Roland shoots at him, pop, 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 and Matthew McConaughey catches the bullets, and I'm like, okay, we've established that that's not going to work. So then he decides to turn into Revolver Ocelot, pop, 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 starts shooting. Pew, 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 and like trying to ricochet with pinpoint accuracy at Matthew McConaughey, and I'm like, when did he learn how to do that? I'm like, that's insanely cool. And so he, pew, 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 and then at the end, when Matthew McConaughey goes to catch some, he goes pop, pop, and fires in quick succession in 2 different directions. He shoots one here, and it goes bing, and then starts to come through, and at the same time, the bullet is traveling slow enough. The bullet is traveling for him to look in another direction, fire it, ricochet, and this bullet, for whatever reason, travels faster than this bullet, because I guess this bullet didn't have coffee, and it came, and he shoots the other bullet. He ricochets one bullet. He ricochets a bullet off of the wall. Off of the wall. And then ricochets another bullet off of another wall. So that they hit together, and it throws off the Man in Black's hand-eye coordination, and he could not catch the other bullet because it went this way instead of this way, and it shot him. Neil, God help me. That's what happened. And I would like to point out too, if he did that, if the trajectory in which that it was carrying, and he hit it, and he kept going the direction that the shot had it going, it would have gone right through his teeth. He would kept going. He'd be like, "Ow, ow!" He just crushes him,
man.
Fuck you! Just drops the whole building on him. Stop it! But he kills him. So then he proceeds to, like, he gets shot the one time, and for some reason this just canceled Matthew McConaughey's magic.
Okay.
And then Roland proceeds to just pop, 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 good old Wyatt Earp style, and then shoots him in the forehead, and then he falls through the portal, and then roll credits. At the very end, they're like, they had the Star Wars ending where they're like, well, I guess I could use your help. And then they turn around and they go to the non-functioning fucking portal that it's an exit only. And they went into it anyway. They just walked the fuck in there and then just and they're back in Midworld and roll credits. I'm like, I don't even know what just happened. It wasn't even supposed to work anymore. They said that. I don't understand. I just want to see what Stephen King's take on it is. I don't mean I don't want to know his opinion. I want to know how much money they paid him to be like, we're going to fuck your movie in the asshole to death. And we're going to Dirty Sanchez it.
He was there on set. Like, did he do a cameo like he typically does?
No.
Oh. Well, I mean, he must not have cared that much.
There was also a thing where I actually yelled at the movie in the theater and I was told to shut up because there was a shameless plug for it. And that's how they're going to tie all this shit together.
I understand they're going to try to do a cinematic universe bullshit thing.
They ruined it already.
Dark Tower and it and whatever else they decide to fucking throw in here.
The Dark Tower is supposed to tie it all together. The Dark Tower is supposed to be the universe. So, I mean, like, you ruined it out the gate. Your first movie was not only garbage, but it was the whole series. Yeah. The Dark Tower saved. It's over. Roll credits, everyone. The universe is done. It's fantastic. Everything's great. I mean, like, you don't have to go back. You don't have to worry about anything. And I'm like, well, fuck, we're fine. Cool. Hey. Psh. But then, like, at one point, whenever they're in Midworld, it says Pennywise Circus. And I was like, suck my dick, movie. I'm a shameless movie plug is shameless. And one day I want to talk about, before it comes out, I want to talk about the It movie. I won't do it today because I know Neil doesn't read. So, I don't want to make him sit here and just stare at us for a while.
Fuck you.
We could talk about, did you watch the original movie?
No.
God damn it, Neil.
I guess I should, huh?
Yeah.
I guess I should. I don't know, like, it seems pretty scary, and I don't like scary movies anymore. I'm scared.
Can I touch on it briefly?
Just a little bit, go.
Okay, just a little bit. All right, so the thing that made, to me, the thing that made Tim Curry scary in that movie was that he acted like a normal person, but in weird situations. Like in the very beginning, whenever he gets Georgie, and he comes out under the sewer and the boat goes down there and he's starting to hand the boat to Georgie, and in this new one, the Skarsgård is like, here's your boat, take it, and he's being all creepy and scary and shit. But in the original one with Tim Curry, he's like, hey Georgie, and he's like, oh, you lost your boat, and he just sits there and talks to him for like 5 minutes and acts like his friend, and then turns on him and just rips his fucking arm off. Because that was what made Pennywise fucking terrifying. Because he acted like your friend, and then he would but he would show up everywhere. So like there are scenes in like the book where a kid gets up and Pennywise is literally laying underneath of his bed looking at him, and it's like, whoa, fuck! But he talks to you like normal, like a real person does. Sure. But like in this movie, this guy's like set to like maximum creep, and like maximum scary creep, and to me, I'm like, I just don't find that frightening anymore. Like, if I go in knowing that you're just terrifying all the time, there's just...
Yeah, there's no...
It just dead...
Just stay away, I mean, there's no luring in, there's none of that. It's just stay the fuck away.
And that's the thing that made him so fucking scary in the Tim Curry version, because it was always like, like, hey, don't you want to come play? I mean, that kind of sounds cool, I guess.
I mean, you are a clown. Clowns are fun.
They're fun and stuff.
And that...
I'm missing an arm.
I haven't seen the movie, but Tim Curry, he's pretty fucking scary on his own. Like, I mean, it's Tim Curry. So, I don't know, maybe I try to limit my Tim Curry movies just because he's he's a fucking scary guy. He's like worse than Willem Dafoe. You know? No, you don't think so?
No, you're just bringing out all my hot buttons right now. I just
So Frank, closing thoughts on the Dark Tower movie.
I mean, part of me says if you've read the book, I want you to see just so you can hate it as much as I did. But it's a terrible movie. Like, my wife hasn't read the books, and she goes, I don't understand what was happening like the entire time. And I'm like, don't feel bad. Even the director didn't know what the fuck was happening. So I mean, no one knew what the fuck was happening in this movie. It like, the acting was good, but it felt like it gave up halfway through. Like, I mean, even Matthew McConaughey, I mean, like, his character was just like, God damn it. I said I wasn't going to say anymore. Okay, so even his character was just kind of, nah. I mean, like, he was like, he started off strong and then it's kind of like, yeah, this is weird. That was the whole movie. It just, I don't know. To me, I didn't enjoy any part of it.
Would you say it's like his worst, Stephen King's worst movie so far? Like, made from his books?
No.
What's
Second worst.
What's his worst?
Dreamcatcher, easy.
Oh, I did watch that. That movie was fucking awful.
It is terrible. I mean, it's funny because it has a fucking totally killer cast. Mm-hmm. I don't understand how that movie could have done so bad, except for that, like, again, just like this movie, the screenwriters were looking at it and being like, needs more explosions and guns and stuff. I mean, like, you're like, fuck America.
All right. What were you gonna say?
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say real quick. I was listening to the G Club podcast by the folks who run Game Grumps and stuff like that. And their latest episode, they were talking about video game movies, and I think they were talking about the Assassin's Creed movie. And they said it seems like somebody made an action film and then put an Assassin's Creed skin on top of it, and then just called it a fucking day. And it seems like that's what they've done with the Dark Tower. Mm-hmm. Is that they made an action movie, they had this idea of a movie beforehand, and then they're like, shit, let's just get the rights to the Dark Tower and just sort of glue Dark Tower themes to it.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree with that, because I mean, it was like one of those goofy Frankenstein amalgamations of a whole bunch of different ideas that would never have worked on their own anyway, but then, like, they're being forced on you in like a wrapped package with another person's IP to be absolutely destroyed. Like, I mean, the only thing I could equate it to is if you've ever watched the Priest movie and then compared it to the manga, because Priest was absolutely fucking dreadful and the manga was fantastic. And I'm like, these things aren't even close to each other, but for some reason we're using the same name, and I don't know why. Just, it was the same way it was with the Dark Tower. I'm like, like, my name's Roland Deschain. Nah, I mean, no. I mean, your name might be Roland Deschain, but you're sure as hell not Roland Deschain. So
that's a fucking shame.
It was terrible. I was absolutely spellbound. I literally got done in the theater, and I'm like, what did I just watch? I don't understand. And the people leaving were like, well, I thought it was pretty good. And I'm like, well, it's because you're a fucking ignorant pleb. No, I didn't say that. I was like, I get that. I understand that you think that it was a good movie. Is what I said, which is basically subtext is the same thing. But, I'm like, I don't understand, because even the people in front of me were like, was it good? I feel like a lot of people in the theater, when you're in the theater, you have like that, I paid so much money, I want it to be good. So I feel like if you go to the movie theater and you watch a movie, your initial impression is going to be, I thought this movie was good. But for me, I'm like, this movie was literally so bad that I can overlook that I normally enjoy going to the movies. And I went, I should have just stayed home. I should have stayed home.
Frank, how long did you spend making a video about your predictions on this movie?
Like 3 days.
And Frank, what happened to that video?
Sony
happened to that video.
Sony happened to my video, and they are the worst.
Frank made a really good video about, using the trailer footage from the Dark Tower, stating his expectations, his predictions on how it was gonna go, and he was pretty spot on. And you gotta say that even after I tried to doctor it up a bit so that we could pass the fucking copyright flags, which took me a few hours, still got flagged for copyright by fucking Sony. So, I mean, and it's shit that's already out there. It's not like, first of all, really not making any money off this shit. Seriously. Secondly, if we were making money off this shit, we're talking pennies, maybe dollars, maybe. So here comes big bad Sony and fucking swoop down and take our glory, all the fucking time we spent. We can't even put it out there. We can't even put it out there for free. Even if we wanted to, we could say no money. We do not want money for this video.
I totally
which is ridiculous because I've watched other like Dark Tower like theories and like, you know, even before the movie came out.
Sure.
And it was literally just 30 minutes of both of the trailers looping over and over and over. Mm-hmm. And we couldn't get away with that shit? Come on.
Yeah, and I cut it up so bullshit. That it transitioned such as it was only 5-second snippets at a time. So I don't get it. I don't get how people get away with it, and I'm not saying that they shouldn't, because they should. Why couldn't we get away with it, for one? For
Hashtag two, fair use.
Exactly, fair use. And for two, I mean, come on. I get that there's bots out there that are looking for this shit, but they're erring on the side of who's more likely to sue us, and that's, I mean, we're talking about Google here, YouTube. And they're shitting all over the content creators. Like, they're erring on the side of big business. And that's not what YouTube's about. YouTube was always about create your own shit and put it out there and, you know, be famous on your own, you know? And here they are cowing to the fucking corporations, the big MPAA shit. Where do you think YouTube's headed? I mean, this is getting worse every year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, literally, like, just this, what was it, a few months ago, they made it so that you had to have at least, 100 subs, before you start making any kind of money. Like,
it was 10,000 views.
10,000 views. 10,000 views.
Yep.
So they wanted to make sure that you weren't making any fucking money unless you were the real deal. You know how long it took us to get 10,000 views?
A lot.
Almost a year. I mean, we're not exactly big by any means, but I mean, and there are some of these people that put out videos that are completely retarded, and they get like over 10,000 views on a single video.
Yeah, we have like that. Wasn't there that one guy that he ended up in our stream at one point who he subbed us and said that we should check out his channel, and just on a whim we checked it out, and one of the videos that he had was literally just him laying on his couch shitting in his pants.
Yeah.
And it had like 400 views. I'm like, is that where we're at? Yeah. Internet at large? We're gonna actually click on a video of a dude just defecating in his trousers?
Frank, now hear me out. Man. What we need you to do.
No. Hey, Squeaky, what's up?
Thanks for dropping.
I raised my non-existent bottle of water.
So yeah, I mean, how do you feel about this this copyright shit? This travesty that's happening to content creators?
I think it's aggravating, especially since it's like I was most recently a victim of it. I think that like stuff like that needs to have like some level of oversight, but at the same time, you know, I'm trying to think of like how to phrase. It needs to have some level of oversight, but I know that on like a realistic level, there's almost no way that could happen. Just because there's too many videos being produced at any given point. Mm-hmm. And so you would need to have like essentially like an entire army literally vetting every video, and it's almost impossible to do that. So it's like I understand like the need for bots, but damn, I mean, like, I don't know. I don't even know like what the solution would be to something like what we had happen to us, because, you know, we're using a trailer that they've already put out, and, you know, I guess I should have watermarked it or something so that it looked like different. I guess that's something I could think of in the future. I don't know if that'll work or not though. But I mean, like, it was like an entirely individual piece with none of the original audio, more or less, and then just me talking over it, which, you know, I thought I did that with the Rogue One video, and fucking Disney didn't flag us. I mean, like, I was like, fuck, Disney didn't try to take money from us. They take money from everybody. So I was like, I figure we have like a pretty good shot at it. Nope. fuck me, I guess.
Well, Disney's a little different. They don't take money from other people. They give you money so that you never have to work again, and then they make all the money in the future. Give me money, Disney.
I will happily, I will fucking happily take money so I don't have to work anymore.
Well, I mean, they have more money than God, so they just go around and, you know, buy shit, buy people,
Yeah.
and then keep making
For
more
sale.
money.
I will happily sell myself for money.
I don't know how the government hasn't stepped in on that shit. I mean, I guess
They're like really close to pulling a monopoly on the entertainment industry.
Yeah. Oh, Squeaky, we got copyright for putting up a looped trailer of The Stand, and we were, or Frank was,
The Dark Tower.
the Dark Tower. You are right.
I can tell what one he's actually watched and or read.
Look, I watched Pet Sematary and The Shining. But that was a Kubrick movie.
They were so good. Do it again 137 times.
Anyways, so Frank made a movie about a video about the Dark Tower, and it got flagged twice, even after we doctored it, and it was a lot of work gone straight into the fucking garbage bin.
I watched it. I laughed. I laughed at my.
I thought it was great.
My
Yes.
9,999 damage to the Dark Tower. It's so funny too because like I did that. I was borderline delirious at that point, and like I saw a thing hit, and I was like, I didn't think it was funny, and then I did it, and I was laughing like it was like 3 o'clock in the morning because I was trying to render it, and I just threw that in there at the last second. Then my wife like woke up and like, "That's not that funny." And I'm like, "Shut up! It's funny to me," and that's what counts.
Well, I mean, we didn't have a whole lot on copyright. I mean, we just say it sucks. Like
It sucks. I mean, it sucks, but it has good uses for as long as it has good uses as long as it's being used for the right reasons. But you know, I understand that there are people out there that I mean, I've said this that I hate where people will take like an album cover and they'll put it there as like a picture and then they just post the song and it's just a song that's popular or recent or whatever and people just click on it and that gets them like 150 200,000 views and I'm like I hate you.
Yeah.
Because it's like fuck. I mean like we actually put like a lot of work into everything that we do. Like we don't just be like I recorded 20 minutes of video game and just stuck that son of a bitch in there, you know, just willy-nilly. It's got mistakes, but fuck you. And you know, we edit, we put intros, outros, we do voiceovers, annotations, subtitles, pictures, and especially stuff like the Dark Tower video and the Rogue One video where we put like even more editing time into it, which is hard for us because like, you know, we kind of work and we're old. And so then, you know, we put all that effort into it and then to have it just be like nah, it contains some kind of bit of information and there is absolutely no way you can even put it on there for free. That's the thing that kills me the most is we couldn't even put it on there for free.
See, here's one thing is I could have tried this and I didn't want to because it would have cost us a strike on our account.
Oh, no.
I could have, well, I mean, if we got, you know, if they deemed it as Sony was right and we're wrong, I could have protested it. I could have said, this is fair use, deal with it. And they would have let the video run. But if Sony actually did look at it and said, no, this is wrong, here's the law, they're wrong, then we get a strike on our account.
Well, that would have been, to me, that would have been easy because I've been like, no, I mean, it's definitely fair use.
Yeah.
Well, see, what I've heard discussed a lot and what I believe is that Google has the money to do it, to just hire a giant fucking crew of people to look through all this shit that gets flagged for copyright infringement.
Right.
And then just have it so if something gets flagged for copyright infringement, it doesn't immediately get taken down, your money doesn't immediately get seized, and that somebody actually has to, a human has to actually look at this shit and go, okay, is this fair use or not? And actually train these employees as to what is fair use and what isn't fair use.
I mean,
And that would be totally worth it. I mean, like if they actually have the money for it and they could actually staff for it, boom, there goes like a huge percentage to unemployment down, like chopped immediately. Tons of people to watch like internet videos, which could be really terrible. But I mean, like just to look for the ones that are flagged, which I can't imagine would be. I mean, I imagine it's a lot, but I can't imagine that it's so many that it would be like earth crushing. Actually, probably is. I mean, it goes back to the, people putting like an album cover and then play a popular song. I don't know how sometimes that shit gets through.
Can you get flagged for having a YouTube icon that you didn't make? Well, I mean, as long as nobody cares. I mean, you look at like Metallica, for example. They don't want their trademark M anywhere but on shit that they approve. So that's probably gonna get past the bots a whole lot easier because it's an image. But if they find out, yeah, that you'll get flagged for it.
And I don't know if icons are something that people look for.
Yeah, they generally don't care. I mean, they're avatars for the most part.
Right. Right.
So
Yeah, still images usually don't get flagged. It's usually certain lengths of video or certain lengths of audio or a combination of the two.
right.
Yeah. Which is why I tried to do the split trick, but that didn't work.
Yeah.
And then I literally was just soul crushed for the rest of the day at work. People were like, "Frank, what's wrong?" I'd be like, "I don't want to talk about it because you wouldn't understand, and you would just laugh at me and tell me it's not that important. So fuck you."
Although I must say, I gotta praise Jim Sterling for figuring out the copyright deadlock. That shit is fucking hilarious to me.
That is pretty funny.
Yeah.
Neil, do you know about that?
Wasn't that the video I sent to you? The one where you put in a whole bunch of different video games simultaneously in a video, so
Yep,
that
that's the one.
they couldn't
Video
figure out who to
games
give
and
money
music
to.
and yep. So I mean, because the problem that he was having is that even though his videos are free for that, he couldn't figure it. They kept trying to get strikes on him anyway.
See, that's
So
the
he was
worst
putting
thing.
so much shit in there.
What's the worst thing about it too is like even if you wanted to put these videos up for free, I mean, as long as they're not detrimental to the brand that they're showing in the video, even then it shouldn't really even fucking matter because it's not officially from that company. But
It defined detrimental to the brand. I mean, like, are you saying like, let's say like I did a Dark Tower video where I absolutely lambasted the Dark Tower for like 30 minutes. Well, I'm sorry, 22 minutes because of editing, and with a bunch of cool little graphics and pictures and implements of destruction.
well,
And
I mean,
then Sony was like, he talked a massive amount of shit about the Dark Tower.
no, I mean, first of all, that shit got flagged before it even completely uploaded, so
Right,
there's no way they
right.
would have known it was a negative video.
I'm just saying.
Secondly, no, I mean, if you're doing a review on something, you're doing an opinion, like slandering them and shit. So it should still be fair in my opinion. But like, even if, like I said, even if you're putting this shit up for free, and they flag your shit and they still allow it to run, they get money.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like they're stopping you from making money so that off of their shit. They're like,
And
hey,
if they do claim it in that way, they can put ads on it, even if you're not running ads on it.
exactly. That's what I'm talking about. And they get paid for your work that you're doing for free for the good of the internet, I guess. I mean, horseshit.
Yeah. Squeaky, by the way, I just looked at your icon. It's cool.
Pretty cool. Well, let's take those last few minutes here. We're gonna start doing a segment. We tried to do Dash Lead Ds before, but
I'm not good at board games, and Neil sucks at trivia, so.
actually I'm pretty damn good at trivia. But we're gonna talk about some video games here because we claim to be all about video games, and
That's my life.
we don't talk a whole lot about video games on the podcast because we figure we would expand our audience and get everybody involved. But since we claim to be nerds, I think we should talk about video games a little.
Claim? I just spent 45 minutes talking about how I was upset at a movie compared to a book. Fuck you and your kind of nerd talk.
So, the new expansion of Hearthstone just came out. Knights of the Frozen Throne. Knights of the Frozen Throne.
Knights of the Frozen Phone.
This fucking guy. I really like it.
Phone.
It's kind of changed up the game quite a bit. Broken a whole lot of shit in a sense that there was a very clear formula. It's cutting out. I'm sorry. I'm here. It's just talking to the mic, baby. Yeah.
Put it right in your mouth, dude. Put it right in your mouth. Say it like you mean it.
There was a very clear formula on how you play Hearthstone before this expansion. It was you got your control, you got your aggro, and you got a little bit of a hybrid in between, and that shit got boring. especially after month 2, the same shit. So they brought out like these new hero cards that completely swing the game in your favor, but then, you know, both.
Hold on a second. I have to answer this question. I have to answer this fucking question. You give me one moment. Look, fuck Ayaka. It's all about Ryoko. When Tenchi Muyo first came out, it was on Toonami. I was in love with Ryoko. Like, when I say I love, I mean it was a pure love that I wanted to just sexually destroy this woman
Ryoko
repeatedly
is
until
bae.
death. Huh?
Ryoko is bae.
Absolutely. I mean, like, I would be lying if I didn't say that I am actively still searching for a body pillow of Ryoko. But I'm terrified I'll find one, because I'm like, but she's so pure and beautiful and kind, and I don't. Do I want to just destroy it like I did the other ones, or do I?
Yes.
I do. I really do. I'm sorry, Neil. Continue.
What anime is that?
That was
Tenchi?
very important. Yeah, that was Tenchi
Muyo.
Muyo, Tenchi Universe, Tenchi in Tokyo.
I did watch Tenchi. Yay!
All right, cool. If you can watch the Weebcast. You can. Yeah. No.
You can't be
Squeaky,
on
I
the
will
Weebcast
not.
yet.
Can't be on it, but you can watch it. Squeaky, I will not calm down because Ryoko is bae.
So what games
She
are you
was
guys
my first
playing?
love, and our love is porn.
Yeah, where were we?
Talking about vidges. So yeah, Knights of the Frozen Throne. I like it. I like it a lot. And yeah. What do you guys got going on over there? Fucker.
Look, I had to answer a very important question. I'm sorry. You don't have to get mad.
I
God,
will though.
look how bitter he is. Little bitter baby. Good thing he's going to bed soon. I love you. I have been playing playing Warhammer. But I did that on stream. Other than that, I really haven't been playing much of anything. Oh, I was playing Banished.
Yeah, how's that?
It is a very angry SimCity where it makes you feel bad. Sort of. If I could feel bad, I'm sure that I would. For building, because you have to like we start with 6 families, and you have to build out, and you have to expand, but you have to make sure you have enough food to like last the winter and firewood and shit like that. And like each family, each person has a name and they have a job, so like they learn like a trade skill. But like you have to slowly expand versus like SimCity where you're like, I'm gonna build this fucking neighborhood because I have the money. I'm gonna build this neighborhood because I have the money. I'm gonna build this industry because I have the money. It has nothing to do with money. It has everything to do with resources. And in the case of Banished, it's like, you make one house. Well, that one house now houses a family, which is man, woman, children. And now it throws out of whack your firewood supply and your food supply and your stone supply and all your supplies that you have coming into town. So then, because you built that one house, which houses a new family, and even though that gives you more jobs and that makes it so everything runs better, you may or may not have just started a famine on accident because you didn't supply enough food and then have enough crop rotation to counter what you just did. So I may or may not have killed 35 children.
Wow.
It was just like child dead, child dead, child dead. And I'm like, well, you people better get to fucking because we need some stone cutters. Because that winter ain't going to give a shit about who's left. So. And I'm actually going to buy that.
Since Sensua's Sacrifice?
Yep. Senua's Sacrifice. I'm going to buy that. I mean, it strikes all my buttons. It's about Norse shit, Ragnarok, high graphics because I'm a graphics hedonist, and female protagonist that is just absolutely badass. I need to pay a hooker to dress as Ryoko, probably because I don't want to hurt Ryoko.
That, and where are you gonna find that kind of costume?
Fucking eBay, are you kidding me?
And why wait? And if you do find that sort of costume, why waste it on a hooker?
Right.
Because you got it on eBay.
You get yourself a high quality call girl. How about you, Ryan?
Probably, cosplay videos of Ryoko out there, but I'd probably cry watching them. Like, you can't suck his dick. It's not right. Get that dirty thing out of your mouth.
Gross.
I'm done.
Okay. What are you playing, Ryan?
I am currently playing a lot of Crosscode. If you didn't catch my stream of it, it's a 2D sort of 16-bit indie action RPG. It reminds me of like if Phantasy Star Online and Ragnarok Online had a baby that was Secret of Mana. I fucking love it so far.
It looks really
It's
good.
not
when
a
I
great-
saw it.
It's not a great stream game because there's a lot of text and a lot of chatting in between, like running quests and stuff like that. It's been really fun though. But I am also going to be streaming a lot of Fallout New Vegas. I have a game that I am saving specifically for stream. So
Very cool. Very cool.
I think whenever I play Hellblade, I'll probably do a straight up edited Let's Play versus doing it live. Because I did Resident Evil 7 live, and I didn't really get a whole lot of traction on it.
Yeah, I mean,
That's what I get for playing. I play a lot of horror games though, and I think I'm probably boring to watch horror games with because all I do is make fun of them.
yeah, you don't do jump scares. You should get Tara on there.
I'm going to. That is actually something that's already planned. We're probably going to start filming it this weekend, but she and I are going to be playing Slender: The Arrival.
Nice.
She may or may not survive. I'm sorry, I may or may not survive depending on how pissed off she gets. So,
Your earbuds.
yeah, she may or may not rip off my mustache.
Well, thanks for dropping by, Squeaky. Appreciate it. We're gonna wrap it up here. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. If you like what you heard, please like, rate, comment, subscribe. Follow us on Twitter. Like us on Facebook. And various other media platforms. What else do we have? I don't even remember anymore.
We used to have an Instagram that we don't use.
Yeah, I mean, we don't ever leave the house, so
I leave the house every day,
you should take some pictures, Frank. Put them on Instagram.
so I can just take pictures of my motorcycle all the time.
Sure. Something. We got
I
very
feel
little
like-
on there.
Look at my motorcycle. My selfies are out of control.
Yeah, dude. That pillow.
Find that pillow. I mean, my problem with looking for a new pillow is that there are so many that I want that it's hard for me to, like, by the time that I get like halfway through the first page, I'm already spent, and I just kind of lay there and I just feel guilt for a little while. That's not true.
Frank's going to need to build an addition onto his home just to store all of his body pillows.
On my waifus.
This is the waifu room.
Yeah, this is the wifey room. Nobody judge me, please. That's the only time that I'll ever like actually call for a safe space, just because I don't want to hear people. I don't want to hear the commentary. That's Daddy's study. Don't go in there. Daddy doesn't study anything in particular, but he does jerk off a lot.
Oh, Daddy studies.
Daddy studies. Dad Widowmaker booty dough.
Studies 2D anatomy.
Alright, guys. Well, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye. Oh, man. Where's my outro?
Oh man, that production value. Hey, do you want me to get it?
Frank has a song in mind.
I do have a song in mind. You ready?
The song's been playing, but my outro isn't playing.
Oh. Look at this photograph. Every time I do it makes me laugh. That's literally all I know of that song. I need to learn the rest of it.
Alright, we're
She
fucking
had a
done.
couple of kids since then. Ever seen us in Gardener's Man?